A tribute to Reverend Kenneth Ragoonath. In 1965, the Lord opened a door of opportunity for a young minister, Kenneth Ragoonath, a freshman student pastor of the Open Bible Institute of Theology in San Fernando, to work at the San Fernando General Hospital as an attendant. Being a Bible student, he would carry his books to work. This earned him the nickname Reverend. "Reverend, why don't you start a Bible class in the hospital? There are so many devils here," was the remark made by a colleague. This prompted the Bible school student, with the company of two other Christian colleagues, to seek the Lord's guidance about starting the Bible class. After some weeks, the answer came in the affirmative, and the first meeting was held on Tuesday, November 2nd, 1965, at Matron Moore's office, San Fernando General Hospital, with 7 in attendance. Attendees were challenged to bring someone out to each meeting. In a few weeks, they grew out of the matron's office and relocated to the eye clinic. In March 1967, Mr. Francis Grimm, the international president of the Nurses Christian Fellowship, which was later changed to Hospital Christian Fellowship International, HCFI, visited Trinidad. Mr. Grimm addressed a cross-section of staff of the San Fernando General Hospital. Later that evening, at the home of his friend Mrs. Thompson, where Mr. Grimm was staying, it dawned on them that believers working in the health field across the world were also doing a similar work. There was already a group of nurses meeting at the nurses' hostel of both the Port of Spain and San Fernando General Hospitals, known as Nurses Christian Fellowship, NCF. That same year, a national steering committee was formed that incorporated both NCF and the HCF, with Mr. Gerald Chen, permanent secretary in the Ministry of Health, serving as chairman. A year later, in 1968, a national executive committee was elected. Mrs. Ruth Griffith Phillips became the first elected president. Shortly afterwards, HCF of TNT was inaugurated into the HCFI and became an international member on September 18, 1968. Reverend Kenneth and his wife Faith Ragoonath are the founders of the HCF in Trinidad and Tobago, and their work rippled down to the Caribbean region. He had the distinction of serving on all 3 levels of HCF, nationally, regionally, and internationally. We honor him as a faithful and excellent servant of our Lord Jesus Christ. Reverend Ragoonath was appointed to the first board of HCFI in 1982 and pioneered the vision of HCF in the Caribbean, Canada, and wherever he traveled. His presence on the international board brought with it a sense of serenity and wisdom, which served as a balm to board members, especially when dealing with sensitive matters. He would often quietly add a perspective to the discussion, which brought clarity and unity, and which enabled the board to reach the desired objectives. The global action team of the fellowship was able to proceed with their work in the knowledge that there was in Reverend Ragoonath a spiritual father on the board who would support and advise on its decision where and when necessary. His pastoral heart was always in evidence and was similarly a comfort to most, if not all, action team members at some point on the journey. After serving the Lord in HCFI in various capacities for more than 52 years, Reverend Ragoonath retired from his position as Vice Chairman of the HCFI Board on his 75th birthday in September 2020 and continued to take a keen interest in and participate in what was happening in the ministry of HCF. Reverend Ragoonath's honoring of his wife, Sister Faith Ragoonath, in their example of a godly marriage will always be an inspiration to us all. Today we honor a faithful servant of our Lord Jesus Christ, Reverend Kenneth Ragoonath. He has touched the lives and hearts of more than 1 million healthcare workers globally as he took the love of Jesus into the health fields of the world. He will be greatly missed, and his legacy will live on in the hearts of those he has touched.